Hey everyone, it's March 19th, and that means that if today's your birthday, you share it with serial killer Randy Kraft, known as the Scorecard Killer, who was tied to as many as 67 murders between 1971 and 1983, and that is him right up there. Born in 1945, Kraft had a relatively normal upbringing in Orange County, California, graduating 10th in his high school class and attending Claremont Men's College, now known as Claremont McKenna, on a scholarship. While in college, he discovered his own sexuality, and though the 60s were a time of sexual awakening in the US, being gay was still frowned upon by many, and he turned to drugs and alcohol to cope. Kraft joined the ROTC program at Claremont, and upon graduation enlisted in the Air Force. He was posted to Edwards Air Force Base, where he worked painting test planes, and where I saw the space shuttle land when I was in the 3rd grade. And that is me, right up there. In 1969, however, he came out as gay and was subsequently discharged from military service on medical grounds and moved back in with his parents who didn't approve. He ultimately found work as a bartender and moved out into his own place in Long Beach, where he had gone back to school at Long Beach State. But starting in 1970, he engaged in dozens of sexual assaults and murders of young men and teen boys who were found along California freeways. His first victim was a 13-year-old boy he met while working and subsequently sedated and sodomized repeatedly. Kraft let him go, and despite the police being called when a Good Samaritan found the boy on the street and took him to the hospital, no charges were filed because the child didn't want to cooperate with the investigation, feeling shame about what had happened to him. In 1971, Kraft first went beyond just raping his victims to killing them. His MO was to drug, torture, sexually assault, and then strangle them. He would dismember the bodies and leave pieces of them at beaches and alongside highways across Southern California. Many victims were in the military, hitchhiking their way to and from their bases, while the rest tended to be runaways or men he picked up in gay bars. His reign of terror nearly ended in 1975 when the severed head of a 19-year-old was discovered in Long Beach, and witnesses were able to identify Kraft's car as one the victim had been seen in. After questioning, police wanted to charge Kraft with murder, but prosecutors felt the lack of a body hampered the case. Apparently, a head on its own isn't enough. Kraft went on to kill for 8 more years before being caught. In 1983, he was pulled over by the CHP for erratic driving, and he just happened to have the strangled corpse of a 25-year-old Marine in the car with him. Searches of his home turned up items belonging to and photos of dozens of victims. Kraft kept a scorecard of 61 cryptic references to crimes, which included 4 double murders, so it is strongly suspected that he killed at least 67 men. He was initially charged with 16 murders, 11 counts of sodomy, 9 counts of sexual mutilation, 3 counts of robbery, with prosecutors intending to pursue charges for an additional 21 murders spanning 12 years and 3 states, no partridge in a pear tree. Some believe he had an accomplice for many of his crimes, with a former roommate being a suspect, but that man died of AIDS in 1987, so we'll likely never know for sure. Kraft sits on death row at San Quentin, still maintaining his innocence and refusing to cooperate with authorities in recovering the remains of his additional missing victims. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so I can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Randy Kraft, they say, happy birthday, you bastard.